Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Inspire View Series 2017. My name is Cherrise Boucher, and I am a momentum strategy coach. I was inspired to do this series because I think that stories really connect people, and we become inspired by other people's stories. So I thought, what better way to do this than connect with women from all over the world who have followed their passions in whatever way that they have, whether it's a piece of their life or they've expanded it into an entire business. However they've incorporated it is, I feel, so critical to do something that you're passionate about and that you love. And this woman is no exception, of course, and I'm hoping I say your name correctly, but just correct me because that's okay. I'm introducing you today to Clare Maddalena, who is the creator of LushTums, the UK's leading expert in antenatal education, offering pregnancy yoga, birth preparation, postnatal yoga for mom and baby, and women's yoga classes in towns and cities all across the UK and beyond. A yoga teacher herself since 2003, she realized the incredible benefits of her own yoga practice that she had during her pregnancy, birth, and mothering journey, and decided to share this with others and set up just a couple of local pregnancy yoga classes in the heart of Brighton's North Lanes. In 2010, these were so popular that she opened a studio offering a huge range of classes to support the whole family. It's called Yoga Mamas, which ran for 3 successful years. That awesome feedback and inspiration from students then led to LushTums. All the LushTums Teacher Training Course content has been fully accredited by Yoga Alliance professionals or, I don't know if it's like FEDANT or you actually say it.
Yeah.
Okay. And all teachers who pass with excellence are given the opportunity to join the LushTums family, the teachers business community. In just 3 years, she has grown this business to over 20 expert teachers in 16 locations around the UK, a teacher in Holland, and one in Canada. Wow. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
This is like crazy inspirational because how many people have like an idea and something grows and then they just kind of let it fizzle? But it seems like you had this idea and you like took massive action on it and it's just growing and growing and growing. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about, I guess, how this even happened for you. How'd you get from there to here?
Yeah, well, wow. First of all, what an introduction. It's really interesting to hear somebody reflect back yourself. So that's kind of blown me away a little bit.
You're like, wow, this person's pretty awesome.
She sounds really cool. Who is she? I want her to be my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I very quickly found yoga was my passion. It was the thing that I would be my go-to place when life was busy, work stresses were hectic, and it would be the place I would find where it would keep me sane. I would feel grounded and more emotionally full again, ready to go back and face life's challenges. So I had first-hand experience of using yoga as a tool to navigate life. And then it really came to a forefront when I was pregnant and giving birth and then being a mum for the first time, and all those changes that we all go through when we become mums. It was it's a transformative period in a woman's life. And I was just walking down the street one day really casually with a really good friend of mine saying, I really want to just kind of hone my focus on working with pregnant women. I've had such a great experience with this. And we literally walked past a studio that had just opened. And she said, go in, see if they've got a space where you could run your classes. And I went, no, I'll think about it. She went, no, look, it's there. It's right there. Just go in. So I went in and there was this beautiful space and they had loads of availability. And I just thought, right, I'll do it. Let's set up a couple of classes. I can do this. I'll get the mats. I've been teaching anyway for like several years. yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And within weeks, the classes were full.
Wow.
You know, people were loving it, people were coming. And I think the really nice thing and the special thing about pregnancy yoga is that you know, most of the people that we engage with have never done any yoga before. So they come completely fresh, they've heard it's a good thing for them, but they get it. They turn up on the mat and they get it, they physically get it, they mentally and emotionally get it, and they go away feeling all put back together again and happy. And it's such a gift to be able to offer that space to people, that they go away feeling a bit better about themselves and able to cope. So I loved it and they loved it, and it just kind of grew from there, really. It just grew. It got to a point where I'd been doing it for quite a while. I'd been teaching pregnancy yoga for about 10 years and had worked with lots and lots of women. I'd worked with lots of midwives who'd also worked with the women that I'd worked with. And I kind of realised that there was something pretty special with what we were offering. I wasn't sure if I could articulate it, but I knew I had to share it with others. So I decided to sit down it was one of our kids' half-term weeks. We have a week off in the school term. And we were toing and froing with grandparents visiting and activities for the kids, but I had about 3 hours each day. And I just sat down and just wrote our entire course in one go. It'd been bubbling under the surface. It was ready to be birthed. I'd kind of conceived this idea and gestated it, and then it just got birthed very, very quickly. And that was 3 years ago. And then we've just gone from strength to strength since.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I know, because I just talked about this recently too on Facebook. Like that feeling that something is there, that you're inspired to do something, and you may kind of sort of know what it is, but not exactly. And like you said, it kind of, it's the gestation period and you're kind of waiting, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, there it is. Like it comes together, and then you're like, wow, where'd that come from? You know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I really think that's what we're particularly good at as women. I think men do it too, but I think women, you know, whether or not you've had babies or not doesn't matter, but I think we all do get these inklings of ideas, like a conception, a conceiving of an idea, and then there's a bit of information gathering and research and gestating, and it kind of cooks. It's like we put all the ingredients in the pot and we give it a good stir, and it cooks, and then when it's really ready, when the time's right, then we just birth these creative projects. And it's pretty cool. You probably see this all the time with all the people you've been speaking to.
Yeah, I do. Gosh, there are some brilliant ideas that people have out there. And, you know, like in my getting shit done role, I love hearing people's ideas, but it's that waiting period, because sometimes there's some little bit of resistance that's just not there yet. And I feel like you can't really push it until it's sort of ready, because it does get ready if you keep adding the ingredients, or you keep watering the seeds. I think that can be a frustrating thing for people, like them, like, okay, I want to do this, but like getting resistance because it's not really the right time for it. And to have that patience to let it come is challenging. I think it's challenging for everybody, me too, but
I think that's true. But I think the cooking analogy is quite good, because sometimes it just needs time to simmer, and for all the flavors to come out, and we can't really rush that and push that. Right. The best meals we make are the meals we make with love, when we've put all of our heart in it and we're really enjoying making it. And I think the same with our creative projects, when it comes from a place in our heart, when we're really creating from a place of love. It does take a bit of time for the magic to work its wonder, really. And giving things that space, I think, is almost part of the practice. And for me, that came with age. I would have been much more impatient when I was younger, like in my 20s. I would have been, come on. But doing this in, you know, I'm going to be 14 next year. So doing this in the last few years, I feel like I'd learned over time that things just happen when the timing's perfect for them to happen, and to trust in that bigger process.
Yeah.
I felt able to do that.
I agree that with age comes wisdom, kind of a thing. I can only imagine what's going to happen when I'm 80, but you know, I think it definitely does. When you're at different decades of your life, I think that you gain different tools and perspectives. So I totally agree with that. So one thing you said that kind of struck me,
absolutely,
was that 90% of the women who come to your classes for the pregnancy yoga have never done yoga before.
Yeah.
I think you got stuck. Okay. So interesting that, I guess, becoming pregnant creates new thing. It's like a new thing, a new baby, a new practice, a new venture to go into, you know, it's like all new things. So how do you think, what are the benefits of coming and doing this yoga? Because I'm sure there are tons of them. I wish I'd known about this, like, you know, 18 years ago or almost 19 years ago at this point. But what have you found are the benefits of it, and what do the people who come to your classes?
Well, the benefits are, there's so many benefits. You've kind of got the benefits of, we're giving them some space, some time to reflect on all the big changes that are happening. So week by week, you know, we might have a woman coming to class who's really, really busy, super career lady, maybe she's got children already, juggling lots of plates, and this might be her only hour and a half each week that she's giving herself to process. I'm pregnant, this is happening, the baby's this big, this means this, and just have the time to kind of catch up mentally and emotionally with what's physically happening. So even if they just came and sat with us and didn't even do any yoga, the importance of that time and that headspace and emotional space, I think, is really invaluable.
Yeah.
Then add in some of the tools that we teach. So we teach them amazing breathing techniques for birth, but also for, you know, being able to sleep well at night, or to calm ourselves down if we're getting really upset, tools that we can teach our children later on. So some of the breathing techniques are really invaluable. Most women will write to us afterwards saying the breathing techniques they learnt in our classes totally helped them with the labour, whether the labour went smoothly or whether they had lots of interventions. The breathing techniques kept them focused and able to make decisions. So hugely empowering with just that. Then they learn loads of amazing moves that can help with the pregnancy ailments that crop up. So I've got heartburn, so we'll do chest opening poses, or I'm feeling really scattered, so we'll do grounding poses. So any kind of physical or mental or emotional thing that crops up, there's usually a practice that we can do to help them. Then they make loads of friends. They find that network of support, which I think in our busy societies we're all kind of starving for. You know, most of the people I know, their families live hundreds of miles away. They find they're pregnant, they've got to make a new network of friends and support, and that's really, really invaluable. They can make lifelong friends in our classes and just feel like they're not alone. So combating that feeling of isolation, I'm the only one that's pregnant at the moment, you know, that's kind of massive.
Right. So nobody understands how I'm feeling, because like everybody else around them is not pregnant or a man, and can't really connect to that.
Yeah, so giving them that opportunity to connect with others in a really safe, held space where they can really be themselves. And the other thing as well, you know, being pregnant, they're changing every day, you know, physically, mentally and emotionally. There's tons of changes that are happening. So having a place where they go back to be on the mat each week, it kind of gives them like a reference point. of observing who they are internally with who they are in their external world, and making those connections with others to see that reflected, I feel is really powerful.
Yeah, I love that. I love the a lot of conversations I've been having lately are around, I wish I knew then what I know now, you know?
Yeah.
And it is, I think this is something you mentioned brought this to mind, was that especially if you've got like other children, right? So you don't, as moms, we tend to put ourselves on the back burner. So to have this time to know that every week you're going to be here doing this for you, and to give yourself permission to have this time and this space for yourself is, oh my God, like critical.
Yeah, absolutely. So critical. So that's one of the phrases that you literally just said, one of the phrases that we often finish our classes with. So they'll all perhaps at the very end of the class come back into a seated position with their eyes closed, and I'll say, so this week I give myself permission to, and then invite them to fill in the blank. So whatever it is that they need to happen that week for them, they're already giving themselves the permission in the class to go ahead and do that, whether that's a really nice bath or a few early nights, or I'm going to say no to this that's coming up over there. We've already kind of helped plant some of those seeds that enable them to be more empowered with giving themselves permission to do stuff or not do stuff.
I love that.
No,
So important.
yeah.
It's so often overlooked. So I think that's a really great practice to get into. And I'm sure that all of this gets transferred into their life for like all kinds of situations, not even just like the pregnancy part or the birthing part, but just life in general, like little challenges that come up, and using these things and the breathing and everything as a way of coping.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really giving people tools in the toolkit that they can draw upon to help them face challenges or stressful situations off the mat, that are very practical, very day to day. So yeah, absolutely. It really does help with life.
Yeah. So do you find, have you had, I'm sure you have, women who come in who've already had a child or two, but didn't go this route, and like came across your classes and are like, oh my God, like where have you been in my life? Because I bet you have.
Yeah, we have seen that. We've, you know, that definitely happens. Perhaps in those situations, if they haven't had any tools on board, if they haven't done classes with us or some other kind of modality that can help them feel more empowered on their journey, then sometimes we see disempowerment in the birth room. Perhaps a lack of presence, a lack of choice, or a feeling of going with what's been presented. And what we know from evidence-based research is that if we don't make really informed decisions in our birth, we can feel really dreadful after, we can feel full of guilt or failure. So empowering women on their journey to make really informed decisions and know what all these terms are, and not just feel like the medical profession are pulling us down this route, is really important. So the flip of that is I've seen people that have felt like they've been pulled down a particular route in birthing. Maybe things have gone in a way that they didn't anticipate, they weren't prepared for. They've then had to do a lot of repairing afterwards. So resolving PTSD, resolving postnatal depression, kind of putting them all back together again. So when they find that they're pregnant the second time, they're really kind of frightened that this journey is going to unfold in the same way as it did before. Perhaps they didn't feel like they'd healed from that first experience. There's still work to be done. So coming to these kinds of classes can absolutely help them have a much more positive experience. And then we're also very clear where our skill set and boundary lies. So we can resolve a lot through the yoga practice, but for a few people who might be suffering PTSD, then we're in a really good place to signpost them onto expert therapists that are very good at getting to the nuts and bolts of those issues and helping people resolve those, so that, you know, so that they can move forward.
Right. That's so important, because often we don't even realize, you know, when we're in the moment or the thick of things, how it's going to affect us in the future. And especially with pregnancies, like, you're just like, okay, I'm just having a baby, and you do it,
Yeah.
right? And then you're like, okay, and then the next time comes around, and that's probably when these things start coming up, would be with like another pregnancy. And then you're like, oh my God, like, I don't want to do it like that again. And there can be a lot of things that start bubbling back up that you didn't even know were there.
Yeah, right. It can act as a trigger. And then those trigger responses can set off, you know, obviously our emotions and fears about that. And then, but really, rather than just stay in that place of being frightened or emotional about this big experience that's coming up, we need to help women see those feelings as signs. You know, it's that part of us that's asking to be helped, to be resolved, and to go in and do some of the work in classes like what we offer, or where we could signpost, so that they can resolve these issues and move forward in a much more whole and healthy place. But we do hear it all the time. Women will come into the classes and say, oh yeah, well, this is going on and this is going on and this was really awful, and we're moving house and my husband's doing this, that and the other, and my boss is that. Oh, but I'm fine. I'm fine.
Right. Right. I think it's great also to just have that circle of support, because you're with other people going through the same or similar things as you, so you don't feel, like you said, so isolated. So you've got that little network of people that you know will at least be compassionate towards you,
Yeah.
and understand a bit of what you're going through or what you're feeling at that moment, which is so important, because like you said, it eliminates that isolation factor of feeling like you're all by yourself in this.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we've seen, and what experts in this field often reference, is that we all need 2 layers of support. There's an amazing guy over in California, Ray Castellino, who's been working in attachment and bonding for like 30 odd years. And his research has shown that we all need 2 layers of support. So the baby coming in has the first layer of support from the mum, you know, physically she's there. But also needs mum to have an additional layer of support holding her. So that might be dad or mum's best friend or mum's mum. But she needs someone to hold her, so she can hold that space for the baby. And then likewise, you know, say it's dad, he needs 2 layers of support to have his back and make him feel safe. That if he's got a worry, he's got somewhere that he can go and have that chat to, and be heard and be seen and be acknowledged. So the whole adage that, you know, the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child, it really does take a village to raise a child, because we've all had the times where we're knackered and that's when it all spirals out of control, and then we don't parent in the way that we'd really like to have parented, and actually that's really tough for the kids. You know, that things shouldn't happen.
Right.
But if we could go, oh, you know what, I'm up to here, but I've got my sister coming in to take over the reins for the evening, and I'm going to have a night out and just let my hair down and get an early night, then we've got a layer of support to fill us up on. So then we can come back feeling ready and full and able to parent as we can. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely makes sense.
My dog's starting to bark.
It's all excited.
Yeah, excited.
There you are. You got stuck for a second.
I'm back.
You're back.
So yeah, does that make sense? This idea that we all need that network.
It really does. But I know from my own experience too, you know, that people don't want to burden somebody else, right? So those things come up about like guilt feelings of maybe putting something on somebody else or burdening somebody, with your own things. And I think the self-awareness that you would get in a class like yours helps you realize that that is not what you're doing, and usually people really do want to help. And you've got to give yourself permission to ask for the help and receive the help and kind of let go a little bit, because that's it just makes life so much easier when you do that.
And how nice is it when someone does ask us for help and we get given the opportunity to be helpful? It's actually a really lovely thing. So if someone feels like they don't want to burden someone, the way to flip it is to think, well, actually, I'm giving that someone an opportunity to feel the joy of being the helpful one. And another time when I'm feeling full, I'll help someone else and pass it on another way. Exactly. And often what we definitely see is that, we don't really need, people can share what's going on with them, and we don't really need to fix it. We don't need to have the answers. We don't need to help solve a problem. We just need to show up and let them be seen and heard and acknowledged, and they'll have their own answers. They'll have their own resolution and solution. And just in the act of the sharing and being heard and seen and acknowledged, a lot of the sticky stuff that we carry around gets dissolved. Yeah. And then they go out feeling much lighter and happier, and all put back together again.
That's so true. It really is, because a lot of times, even with my clients in sort of a different realm of stuff, it's the talking process that kind of like loosens up what was stuck, and the flow of it just lightens everything, and then solutions are found, and it's really incredible in so many ways.
Yeah, so I guess we're giving people a space where they can see what's coming up for them, and rather than manage it or put it in a box, they're giving an opportunity and tools to be with these big emotions, these big experiences, these challenges, these difficulties, however it unfolds, and be able to kind of move through those in a really whole, holistic, grounded, really present way. I think present's another kind of key word. I think everyone's talking about being mindful. That's a great buzzword at the moment. And mindfulness is all about being present. So that has to be where our 2 feet are in the moment. What we find when we future think, when we play out the scenario of, oh, well, if this might happen at the birth, or we get very exhausted with all of these things that haven't even happened.
Right.
We also catch ourselves past thinking, oh, I shouldn't have said that to so-and-so, and playing the conversation over and over and over and over again. So when we're in past or future thinking, we actually get really depleted. It's exhausting. And the mind needs something else to do to focus on, perhaps the breath or a yoga practice, to come back into the present. And then when we're present again, our energies fill up. Yeah. And all these little dilemmas and problems and guilts have a way of dissolving.
It's like magic.
Like magic.
Magic.
Yeah, very much so.
So another big thing with what you've created here is taking it from one, yourself, to many other people teaching.
Yeah.
So how did you even, this is where a lot of people get stopped, right? They think, oh, I can do this. And then, people may show interest or something, but they're like, oh, that's just way too big. Like, I'm not going there. I'm just going to stay small and doing my little thing by myself. So how did you get to the point where you were like, hell yeah, like, come on, let's all do this. And I'm going to teach you how, and I'm going to create this whole program, and I'm going to franchise it out. I mean, that's like big stuff.
Yeah, I think it came after years of lots of positive reinforcement, lots of hearing from the mums and the midwives what a difference it made, and then kind of getting to a point where I thought, I can't be in all these other places. I'm in Brighton in the UK, and I would really love women from every town and city to benefit from some of these tools and practices that we can share really easily in our classes. And it just was kind of like a logical conclusion of, well, if I can't be there, I'm going to have to get other people to do what I do and try and bottle some of this magic that we have, and create a toolkit essentially of what the teachers can share. And I just thought, it was kind of a morbid thought actually, if I'm being really honest with you, Cherrise. I kind of thought, well, if I die and all this amazing know-how and help is gone, what a waste. And I kind of felt like, I love helping people, and to help more people, we need armies of birth workers and positive coaches, and we need armies of us helping more women be empowered on this massive journey, not only for them but for the babies coming through. That if they can come through from a happier, well-held mother, then it's the implications for the next generation are phenomenal. So the whole thing was just bigger than anything, and it kind of just it has to be done. I've been really fortunate that I kind of just put it out there, and immediately I had my first 7 come to their first training, and they were all women that I'd taught yoga before, so they'd all had first-hand experience of it. They were my kind of early adopters, and they all felt impassioned that it made such a difference to them, and they then wanted to share that with others as well, because it was so profound and powerful and helpful. So that's how it started.
That's so cool.
Oh, thank
you. Stories like that, it just like gives you chills. It's like you took it and ran with it, and like you said, if you died, where would it be? Somebody would say, God, I went to this awesome class once, and there was this really cool technique that we used, and I wonder how I can learn that or something. And if it was only you and you were no longer around, then that is a morbid thought. But
yeah, it kind of inspired me too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. To love and be passionate about what you're doing so much that you want to make sure that other people can carry it on and to spread it around the world. That's like a big mission, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that is the mission. It is the mission. The vision, the mission is to help as many women on their journeys to motherhood as we possibly can. And in doing so, we're helping the babies coming through, but we're also helping the women's partners, feel more empowered as well, and all part of the journey. So it does have, it's just great, really. It's rewarding. It's so rewarding.
It really is. I wish I could go back in time.
Good to help make it count.
I wish I could go back in time to like before I was pregnant with my first, and like
my classic.
Take advantage of all these things that I'm learning now. That my daughter is almost 19 and my son is 14, so it's kind of after the fact. But you know what? I'm here to help spread the word of this awesome stuff to other people. So.
And when they get old enough to have these experiences, we'll have all of this to share with them, so they can learn from our learnings and hopefully, accelerate their own processes.
Yeah.
Get there quicker.
So important to share that stuff. So, do you teach the classes? Okay, so say somebody here in the States wanted to learn this. How does that happen if you're in the UK?
Yeah, well, we have teachers in the UK, we've got a teacher in Holland, and we've got one teacher in Vancouver. We are currently looking for people in the States to come and train with us. We're hoping to bring our program to the States, so me and the teaching team would love to come over to the States and run our entire training program there, and have people from every state come and train and go off and set up classes. It's an intense and very deep course, but very easy for us to do that, and that would be something I would love to do. It would be great for pregnant women in the States to have access to these resources and these materials, and hopefully make more empowering choices around birth, especially when we look at things like cesarean rate and intervention rate and the medicalization of birth in the States. you're in a very different place to us in the UK, which is still mid-led. And I guess in the States it's more OBGYN. So there's a big kind of cultural shift that can come from the grassroots up, where women are just demanding more empowering birth experiences, and what goes with that is quite exciting, really.
That's really cool. I mean, personally, and I shared this in another interview, I was all about the C-section. So I was totally okay that my daughter was breech and she was going to stay that way and be stubborn and whatnot. I was like, that's cool. Let's schedule this. Do it like that.
In situations when we need the medical profession, amazing. We're so lucky that we have them and their skills. It undoubtedly saves lives.
Absolutely.
But the flip side of that is that what we've seen over the last 20 odd years with the use of technology, it's kind of safer to intervene and just get it out and get it done. But because of the way things have changed, women are not maybe encouraged to see how it might go, see how a natural birth might go. We're doing a lot over here at the moment with reclaiming traditional skills when it comes to breech. If it's just bottom down breech, not transverse but bottom down breech, when midwives all across the UK are being re-skilled as to how to hold that space and help a woman give birth in that way, and normalize it again, normalize it again and give women back their options around it. But of course, if push comes to shove and we need that help, we're very lucky that we have that support. But it's almost like the pendulum's gone too far that way.
Right. With so many things. So many things. Immediate gratification, and all the rushing of stuff has definitely had its effects on a lot of things in our lives, for sure.
Absolutely. But I reckon the pendulum will definitely kind of swing back again, and we'll see a change in the birth space for sure. We'll see more, birth activists in the US particularly have stopped the cesarean rate really going through the roof. They've held it where it is for a good decade or so. So that there's great work happening. But it's about giving women choice and empowerment and information so that they can make the right decisions when it comes to having the births and the experiences that they would rather have happen.
Right. Yeah, it's important. It is. Yeah. Even though I'd be scared to death to do it the other way. I'm glad I'm done with that.
Yeah, and I think that definitely comes from that kind of inherent fear about it comes from a place of cultural conditioning, where we see the stuff on the telly and it all looks really thick, and then have gone and we've got to rush you in and it's a cesarean, and we kind of then grow up thinking, well that's how we do it, that's how it happens. So it's from stuff we see on the TV, it's from the story we heard when we were 3 about who so and so down the road having that experience, and it creates these imprints, and then we think, well, that's how we do it, that's how I have to do it. And until someone shines a light on the possibility of the fact that our bodies have been doing this for generations, going back thousands of years. We are really well designed to do this. And if we can set up a few conditions to help facilitate women to know how to breathe, know how to move, and ultimately feel safe and protected in their environment, there's so much research and evidence that has women's backs and says, what, if you want to do this, the odds are in your favor. You can do this.
That's fantastic. I think what you need to do is start doing virtual live classes so you can get everyone on board all over the place.
That's a great idea. We're doing a few videos at the moment. We're doing some videos of our own that we're going to be putting on YouTube. So we're building up a YouTube channel very slowly. But there's definitely some resources there. If people in the States want to check it out, There's great breathing for birth. There's breathing to help calm us down, to help us go to sleep. There's lovely exercises and movements to do for all the different pregnancy ailments. So it's all there on the YouTube LushTums page.
Awesome. I'll put a link to that too.
Thank you.
On the website, so that it's quick and easy to get right there. That's fantastic. I think it's so exciting that how your passion for yoga then expanded into something more, and then something even more, and that you're so enthusiastic about it and you see the value in what you're doing, that you want to share it big time, like everywhere. I think it's really, truly inspirational.
Oh, thank you very much. That's really lovely to hear. I still feel really humbled with what we're doing. And just a little piece in a puzzle. Loads of other people are doing amazing stuff in this space as well. And I'm massively inspired from some of those greats, so like Michelle O'Don and Ray Castellino that I mentioned, and fantastic, Robin Grills, who writes lots of beautiful parenting, psychoanalytical stuff. So I'm hugely inspired by the greats in my life, and if I can take a little bit of their wisdoms and just share it and percolate it a little bit, and that helps one person, then I'm done. I'm really happy with that. Yeah,
I think that's what's so important. People sometimes get stuck in the having to share something with like 10 million people, but sometimes just the one person that you can reach is just so important. Like that's everything in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we'll wrap. I know you have an offer. I'm looking for it. So I know you put it in here. I'm looking in the notes, but I'm sure you know what you put.
Yeah.
It's for people interested in teaching, right? Learning.
Yeah. I'd love to reach out to
you share.
Share. Just a big reach out to anyone interested in helping other women on this journey, and also for themselves to have a career that means that they can be have a rewarding career that's flexible. They can work when they want, earn really good money, but really do something that's making a big difference. If anyone feels like they're into yoga or birth or postnatal care or working with women during this time, they might not have ever done yoga before, but if it feels like it's igniting that feeling in their tummy and they want to get involved, then I'd love to hear from them. And we're offering like a 20% discount at the moment off of joining LushTums for anyone that is interested through this show, and we'd be very happy to come and run the whole training in the States. If we could get a good group of people together that are keen to take this work forward, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Would be. And so you mentioned that. I was thinking the exact same thing right before you said it. So do you have to already be a yoga instructor to do this or learn it?
No, not at all. Lots of the practices have its roots in yoga tradition, super ancient practices that are amazing, and we draw upon that, but we give it a very modern application. A lot of what we do is also drawn from where women are at this current time, and the technology that we have and what we know about birth, and parenting and babies. So the whole content of the course is very, very in depth, but it is complete. So someone could come with no yoga experience, or maybe they haven't had a baby yet, but if they're passionate about this field, we can teach them everything they need to know to set up their own classes and be an expert in this specialism through our training.
Oh, that's
they
awesome.
Also receive. It's really cool. It's really cool. And we've seen it with the teachers that are there already. And then afterwards, they also stay part of the family. So there's always opportunity for ongoing mentoring and support. There's a whole connection that we have through a private Facebook group. I get to speak to the teachers really regularly, and we do top-up training days. So there's always, even though they're doing this themselves and they'll bring their own voice and their own passion and style to it, There's always LushTums family is there. We've got their back. We're their layer of support, and we'll be there as they grow and develop and take it forward.
I love that, because it's so important to not just feel like you're floating out there on your own, you know, like, because there's so many like courses out there that are self-taught, and then there's really no support behind them. So I really like that this is very personal and taught in person, and well, at least right now.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll use Zoom to do some live teaching here in the future. So
that could be really cool. You've given me some ideas.
Yeah, because it can happen. I mean, you can do, I don't know how long the courses take, but if you broke them up, even if it was like a whole day thing, you could break it up into different sessions and do them virtually.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Could be very cool. Very cool.
Just expanding more and more, just helping you think bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely give that some thought.
Yeah. So thank you so much. All this information, all the quick links and Claire's bio and information will be on my website at cheriseboucher.com/The Inspire View Series 2017. There are also 2 other years that you can peruse in there if you like, and on my YouTube channel. So it'll be on there as well for easy access should you happen to be, you know, searching through YouTube videos. I'll put all quick links and everything to be able to contact Claire and find out more about what she does, because this is really, really cool. And for it not to be here in the States yet, I think is a great opportunity for people to hop on this. So thank you so much for being here with me today. It's very exciting and absolutely my pleasure to talk to you. Just another friend in my friend
club. Thank you so much, Cherrise. I've really enjoyed it. It's been wonderful to talk to you too. And if you come across anything that I can help with yoga or birth or women or children or pregnancy, just give us a shout. I'd happily give you some expert thinking whenever you need.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks. And thanks everyone for listening and watching. Nice to meet you all.